there, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn-Elise Snipes, and today we're going to be talking about common misconceptions about the inner child. First misconception, the inner child is a literal entity. No, the inner child is a metaphor used to represent past experiences and emotions, especially those that were formed in childhood. What beliefs did you form when you were growing up? The second misconception is that inner child work is a cure-all. No, it's not. And it's important to recognize that there are a variety of things that can cause depression, anxiety, relationship issues, addiction, whatever ailment that you're trying to cure. The inner child may be part of that, but it likely is not all of that. Recognizing how your past impacts your present, it's important, in my opinion. It's important, but it's not a cure-all. The inner child needs constant attention. No, again, this is not true. Recognizing when the inner child is being triggered is important, and being able to differentiate between memories of feeling unsafe as a child and being safe or unsafe in the present, that's important. But the inner child doesn't need constant attention. Could most of us benefit from paying a little bit more attention to it? Yeah. As we grow up, a lot of us lose contact with that inner child, that happy-go-lucky, curious inner child that hopefully you have inside of you. And it's important to recognize all sides of ourselves. If we lose our creativity and our ability to have fun, then that can be a problem. So we do want to heal our inner child and continue to recognize that childlike part of us that keeps us young, but we don't need to give it constant attention. Just like a human child doesn't need helicoptering and constant attention. Yes, they need oversight, they need care, they need attention, but not constant attention. And the same thing is true for our inner child. Next misconception, inner child work is only about healing trauma. No, it's also about reconnecting with positive aspects of yourself, such as creativity and joy. And I kind of covered that just a minute ago. But most children, not all, don't get me wrong, not all, but most people can think back to times in their life, maybe a vacation, maybe a particular grade in school or teacher that they had or activity that they did where they were happy, where they experienced joy, where they felt confident. And it's about reconnecting with those experiences as well as healing the traumas and the tragedies that that child experienced to create a person that's still able to experience that childlike wonder that, again, that we often lose as adults. Next one, the inner child is always an exile or wounded part. No, just covered that. Some people have a very healthy, happy inner child, but they've forgotten to connect with it. And they've just gone on autopilot as adults, and life just seems dreary and like drudgery. Well, reconnecting with that curious, happy inner child can be helpful, but that inner child is not wounded. That inner child is the one that's tapping you on the shoulder and going, hey, let's skip down the sidewalk and go get an ice cream cone. Next one, inner child work requires regression. Nope, this is not accurate, nor is it necessary for effective therapy. You're not going to regress back to being a child. You're going to recognize in the present moment, I'm feeling uneasy. Is it because there's a threat in the present, or is this reminding me of a time in my past where I experienced something that was traumatic? The next one, and this is one of my favorites, the inner child is responsible for all negative behaviors and poor behavior should be excused. Absolutely not. The inner child may be responsible, especially a wounded inner child may have learned some dysfunctional behaviors and may be responsible for some of those negative behaviors in the present, but it's not all of them. And as an adult person, you are able to think differently, and you're able to recognize the difference between an activated memory versus the present and take steps accordingly. Poor behavior is not to be excused. It's to be understood. I lost my temper, or I reacted that way because it reminded me of this situation when I was a child. Okay, well, I regret acting that way in the present. What do I need to do to prevent that in the future? What do I need to do to change how I respond in the future? And inner child work is the only way to heal past experiences. No, it's not. There are a lot of ways. There's EMDR, there is regression therapy, there is hypnotherapy, there is inner child work, and some people prefer to use a more coaching approach and use cognitive behavioral therapy, focusing on the present and moving forward. You don't have to do inner child work. If you're interested in learning more about the inner child, though, you can join my self-help community at docsnipes.com/aura. In this community, we have self-help courses with videos and worksheets, live events every week, and group courses. Inner child work is but one tool in your toolbox that can be used to help you address mood and behavioral issues in the present that may have been learned or stem from past traumas or experiences. Inner child work can also help people without a traumatized inner child reconnect with those ignored parts of themselves and regain a sense of awe and wonder.